Alone with my husband's colleague, what he did next still haunts me. Emily Thompson considered herself a level-headed, practical woman. At 29, she balanced a busy life between her job as a library assistant, her small but cozy home in the suburbs of Portland, and her marriage to James, an IT specialist who often worked late hours. She wasn't the kind of person who let her imagination run away with her. But the events of one particular autumn evening would test her calm, logical nature more than she ever expected. It started on a Wednesday morning. James rushed out the door with a quick kiss on her cheek, coffee in one hand and laptop bag in the other. "Don't forget," he said, "Ben might need help tonight. I told him you're good with presentations, and I might be stuck at work." Emily had heard of Ben Carter before. He was one of James's closest colleagues, friendly, polite, a little on the quiet side. She'd met him briefly at a holiday party, where he'd shaken her hand and complimented her on the cranberry cookies she had baked. If James trusted him, she figured there was no reason to worry. That afternoon, her phone buzzed with a message from James. "Hey, can you swing by Ben's place around 6? He needs help finalizing the slides for tomorrow's client meeting. I'll join you if I can, but don't wait for me." Emily agreed. She had no plans other than catching up on a novel, and she liked the idea of being helpful. When evening came, she drove across town to a quiet residential neighborhood. The air smelled of rain, and the maple trees lining the streets were already bare, their leaves crunching under her shoes as she walked to Ben's porch. He greeted her warmly, holding the door open. "Emily, thanks for coming. James said you're a lifesaver." Inside, his home was tidy and modern, with the faint aroma of coffee brewing in the kitchen. The living room was set up with a laptop, projector, and piles of neatly organized papers. They got to work right away, going through slide after slide, adjusting fonts, tweaking graphs, and debating which images best conveyed the client's vision. 2 hours passed quickly. They were mid-discussion when suddenly, without warning, the lights flickered and went out. Emily froze. "Was that power outage?" Ben said, already heading to the kitchen for a flashlight. "Happens sometimes when the wind picks up around here." Emily glanced toward the windows. The wind had indeed begun to howl outside, rattling the glass. She pulled her sweater tighter around her. Ben returned with a flashlight and set it on the table so they could at least finish sorting through the papers. It was quiet for a while, almost too quiet, until Emily heard it, a faint rustling outside. She looked up. "Did you hear that?" Ben paused. "Yeah, it's probably just the wind." But the noise came again, sharper this time, like someone stepping on wet leaves just beyond the back door. Ben stood and moved toward the kitchen, motioning for Emily to stay put. She didn't like the idea of sitting there alone, so she followed, her footsteps soft on the hardwood floor. They peered out the kitchen window but saw nothing except shadows shifting in the yard. The flashlight beam caught the edges of the wooden fence swaying slightly in the wind. Then came a knock. It wasn't loud, just 2 soft taps against the glass of the back door. Emily's breath caught in her throat. Ben's eyes widened. He stepped forward cautiously, then stopped. When he finally opened the door, there was no one there. Just an envelope on the doormat, its edges damp from the drizzle. Ben picked it up slowly. This wasn't here earlier. He set it on the kitchen counter and opened it. Inside was a single sheet of paper with a handwritten message, "You can't hide forever." Emily's skin prickled. "Ben, is this some kind of joke?" He shook his head. "No. And I think I know who it's from." He explained, his voice low, that an old business dispute from years ago had left someone very angry with him, someone he thought had moved away. He had never told James, not wanting to drag his friend into the matter, but the letter suggested the issue was far from over. Emily urged him to call the police, but he insisted he would handle it. She wasn't convinced, but he thanked her for being there, saying her calm presence made the strange evening easier to bear. By the time she left, the power had returned. The drive home was quiet, her mind replaying the knock, the envelope, and the look in Ben's eyes when he read the note. When James finally got home later that night, Emily told him everything. He listened carefully, promising to speak to Ben in the morning. Weeks passed without incident, but Emily never forgot that night. Even now, sometimes when the wind picks up and the lights flicker, She thinks of that faint knock and the words written in shaky ink, "You can't hide forever." It wasn't her secret, but it was a moment burned into her memory, one she would never shake. If you'd like, I can also prepare 3 alternative clean titles so you can A/B test which one gets more YouTube clicks while staying safe for monetization. Would you like me to add those?